Yo, what's up guys? The Insane Game Freak here. So Mr. T-Tech made a video which is pretty much, the question behind it was, would you buy a console with no features? That's the name of the video itself, but it was something he was also talking about how he's debating on getting a Wii U, even though he has really no level of attachment towards Nintendo or its franchises, which is what's kind of stopping him. He doesn't know if he would bother because of the type of games that Nintendo makes versus everyone else. And that's kind of what I'm more focusing on than the actual point of his video, because it created a jumping off point that I really want to talk about. Because it's like, one of the things he says is expanding your horizons, and this, as you see, are a stack of Wii U and 3DS games. But these have a specific relevance of which games are in these piles. And I'll tell you, these are games that I've either played. This is the first game in these respective franchises I've played, or the first game I've beaten in these respective franchises. And I played Mario before, but I think this is the first 3D Mario I've actually beaten. I've played 64, I've played Sunshine, I have never played Galaxy or Galaxy 2. But I have played, this is the first 3D Mario at least that I've beaten. And I'm a Nintendo fan. This is the first Pikmin game I've ever played and beaten. Same thing with, actually, yeah, this is Donkey Kong in general. This is the first Donkey Kong game I've played and beaten. I think I've played Donkey Kong before, but this is the first one I've actually beaten. This one, I'm more putting in here in the sense of something else, so I'll hold off on that in a second. The first Fire Emblem game I've ever played. Fucking love this game. First Shin Megami Tensei game I've ever played. This is going into another thing. I have Skyward Sword in here and Legend, what is it? Wind Waker HD. Zelda has been a franchise I have never touched. And shit, I have touched it less than Mario, even though I haven't beaten really any Mario games. Zelda, I think I've only touched Ocarina of Time, if anything. That's the only game I've actually touched. And I didn't even play it from the beginning. I think we were at camp and they had an N64, and I think I was just playing one of the temples. I think it was the Water Temple, ironically. Zelda I have never been into, and I'm a Nintendo fan. Mario Kart 8's in here particularly because the last one I've played is Double Dash. I didn't even play the one on the Wii, or the one on the DS/3DS. Mario Kart, I have a very up and down relationship with in the first place. Kirby is the same situation. The only other Kirby game I played before this one was Epic Yarn, and Epic Yarn isn't the best representation of a Kirby game. And I never played, well, I played it, but I never beat Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. And here's the point I'm trying to make. Mr. T-Tech, or just people in general, if you're trying to expand your horizons, do it on your console of choice. Take a game that you normally don't play on your console and try it. Because people always go, oh, I don't know if I should get a Wii U to expand my horizons. Dude, look, if you don't even like those same types of games on the console of your choice, why would you even bother getting a whole new console for that? Because what does Nintendo specialize in? Platformers. That's like their bread and butter. If you like unrealistic kart racers, or RPGs, real-time strategy stuff, or just action-adventure games that have, like, if you like those type of games in which as you go through the game, you get stronger and stronger, and you jack up your gear, and you're kind of OP by the end of it, you'll like some of these games. But here's the thing. I know Sony and Microsoft, well, I know specifically Sony has games, because I think you say you have a PlayStation 4, that have the similar type of style. So long story short is, if you're trying to expand your horizons, do it on the console you own currently. Like, for example, I would think a game like Little Big Planet is something you don't care for. Try it out. That's my statement for that. It's like, try it out. You know, if you're not huge in the platformers, go try Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank. You know, try the games you never touch, like maybe Sly Cooper, stuff like that. Because they're the same types of games as like Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong and shit. Just try those games out. Try some Japanese games, damn it. They need more love. We like Ike, damn it. And Lucina. Lucina's legit. Even though I still love that Smash Brothers has effectively spoiled who Lucina is. Therefore, the plot twist in Fire Emblem is so goddamn irrelevant. Like, I've never seen that. Smash Brothers has now made an entire spoiler in the middle of the game irrelevant. Still funny, though. Oh, that's terrible. You gotta understand, even as a Nintendo fan, and I've owned the Wii, I own the GameCube, I own the N64, I own the Super Nintendo. But in a sense, you could say I was a casual Nintendo fan. You know, I at least played the games, but I never sat down and like really dedicated hours and hours of time to them. Like, I have my franchises I like the most. I mean, I was huge into Sonic, I was huge into Pokemon. Like, those things in themselves were enough to get me to buy a console. Everything else to me was kind of a bonus, plus that money situation. So I never got to own half of these games. Shit, I never got to own the original versions of half of these games. That's why I'm spending a lot of my time just kind of playing catch up and reintroducing myself to older games. Like, I think I bought Metroid Zero Mission. Actually, my first Metroid game was Other M. Particularly, granted, that's partially because I don't care for first-person shooters, so the Prime trilogy didn't relatively speak to me, but you get my point. Try different genres out on the game that you own. Like, for example, Bayonetta originally was just kind of a what the fuck ever purchase. You know, it wasn't like I was like, man, I really like hack and slashes. Because up until that point, I hadn't really played much. And Bayonetta kicked my fucking ass. But it's because of me trying out Bayonetta that I was so quick to get Bayonetta 2 over here. I mean, that's how it is. It builds on each other. It's like Pikmin 3 was a game that inherently interests me. Like, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't mind the game drought as much for the Wii U. It's like, it's kind of what forced me to try out some of these newer games. It's like Pikmin 3 was a game I wasn't inherently going to try out, but it's like, fuck, I have nothing else to play. Why not? Fire Emblem was kind of the same way. It's like, look, and that's kind of the credit I give to Smash Brothers in itself. Smash Brothers, I always pick Fire Emblem characters. So I was like, you know what, let's try out the next Fire Emblem game that comes out. It just so happened to be a 3DS, and I happen to love the shit out of this game. This is like my favorite game. God damn. It was, I mean, hell, Kid Icarus. How many people bought Kid Icarus Uprising having played the original Kid Icarus? Not fucking many, if anyone. I wasn't one of those people. I played it because it was a new game to try out. Try out games on a console you already own. Expand your horizons that way, slowly. If you start liking those games, then try a console out that specializes in those games. But as a general statement, that's how I view it. It's like, look, if you aren't really used to trying out things, trying out some of these genres of games in general, don't buy a whole fucking new console for it. Especially if you already own a Sony console. Microsoft, you might actually have to buy a new console for it, because Microsoft, variety has never been their strong point, unless you're buying a whole bunch of Xbox Live games or some shit. I'm not trying to turn you away from buying the Wii U, but realistically, the best way to know if you'll be able to handle those types of games and be interested enough in them to play them consistently is to try games that are in similar genres. It's like, I didn't try Fire Emblem because I didn't own a 3DS and I bought a 3DS specifically for Fire Emblem. I didn't buy a Wii U specifically for Pikmin 3. I didn't buy a 3DS specifically for Luigi's Mansion. We didn't even know this game was coming out. I didn't buy a Wii U specifically for Mario 3D World. I bought it because I knew Nintendo always has their, their staples, and they also have their weird kooky games. The game I originally bought the Wii U for was fucking Wonderful 101. Not even knowing who it was by, but I just like Wonderful 101. I thought Wonderful 101 reminded me a lot of Beautiful Joe, and I really like Beautiful Joe, which is a fucking third-party game. That's my point. I didn't buy a new console just to try out these new games. I already had the console for my original reasoning. This just adds more credence to it. So now, when the next Mario game comes out, I'm looking more forward to it because I played the recent one and I'm more interested in Mario in general. Same thing with Pikmin. Pikmin 4 is announced. I might be legitimately excited, or at least more than being indifferent than I was to begin with. Same thing with a new Donkey Kong. Same thing with a new Mario Kart. Same thing. It's the same shit. And I damn sure gonna be excited when I get a new Fire Emblem. God, I want a new Fire Emblem now. Hell, I want a new Kid Icarus game. That's how you create a fan base. You take the console that they already own and you give them more franchises to get addicted to. That way, when your new console comes out, the brand loyalty is even stronger. Because now it's not only like a lot of people probably bought Nintendo consoles purely for Zelda. Then they got introduced to Mario and Star Fox and Metroid and shit like that, and then they became fans. I mean, who is it? Ted from Brainscratch Comms talked to death about Pikmin. And Pikmin has a small ass fan base. I mean, hell, and just going on a tangent, that's why I like Smash. Smash is what made me interested in Pit in the first place. That's why I was super excited when Palutena was announced. Most of you weren't because you didn't know who the fuck it was. Same thing for Fire Emblem Awakening. It's like Lucina was announced, I lost my fucking shit. It was because of Brawl and Ike and Roy and Marth and shit that made me go, I want to try a Fire Emblem game. And that's why I was a part of the group of people who were super hyped when I saw Lucina in the fucking trailer. Like, Lucina confirmed. That's how you build a fan base. So stop worrying about buying a new console for that shit. Especially because you own a Sony console. They have those types of games. That's how you'll know. If you're a fan of if you're a fan of Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Little Big Planet, Ratchet and Clank, that type of shit, or even, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, jumping into a Wii U environment won't even be an issue for you. But if you're not, try the games out on your console of choice first before making a jump to an entirely new console just for the fuck of it. It's an easy way to gauge your attention span without spending a retarded amount of money, because no one wants to spend their money on something they have no intention of using. Anyways, that's just my thoughts and opinions. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.